Hey, this is Joel Baker with American Giants. I am on a very exciting mission. This is going to be a week full of Muffler Men for me and quite a long haul travel. But I am in Massachusetts this morning. Just flew into Boston on a red eye, and I am hunting down the Muffler Men from Seacrest Auto. They had two Muffler Men back in the day. They had an Indian Chief and then they had a Bunion. And I have figured out that the Bunion is a little bit north of here in Amesbury. So the guy has said he will sell it to me. I got a truck, and then I also picked up a hitchhiker, Mike Taylor.
Howdy.
He lives around here in these parts. So we're gonna go on some adventures today and see if we can get this guy bought and loaded up. All right, we've arrived. This is Honks Martin Auto Salvage in Amesbury, and I was here last in 2019. Somebody had told me about possibly one of the Seacrest Muffler Men was here, and so I came here, and I haven't said anything about it all these years, but I've kept in touch with the owner. Here's Mike again. First time here, Mike?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you have any idea that there was a Muffler Man this close to your house?
Not till I got in the car with you. Yeah, so.
Right. I've been keeping this one a secret. So here he is. This is a Bunion version. You can see him through there. This just goes to show you never know where these guys are going to be. You think you found them all, and then like there's one just sitting here, up against an old car. So we got Bunion pants. I want to point out something interesting here. They are cowboy legs, essentially. They do not have Bunion boots. And I think there are 2 or 3 Bunions that are this leg version that I've been able to find. Another one was in Liverpool, New York. And if you look at that one, it's also the same style legs as this. But everything else is Bunion. It's got the torso, and then way over there in the weeds is the head. So we're just hanging out, waiting for the owner to arrive. I told him I was coming today. I hope this works out. Fingers crossed that we can get this guy bought and loaded up. Got a broken foot here. Pulled that out. Now we're working on getting him out of the woods. We stood the legs up, kind of angled them over so we can pull the torso out straight. So it's a little bit of an operation. But this guy's pretty cool. I just love finding these in the wild. You guys have seen me do this before. And it's just so cool, especially with the history down in Lynn at Seacrest, to finally see this guy and pull him out of here. One broken foot, not too bad, and there he is. All right, so halfway done. We got the torso in here. We're gonna put some tires under the arms, support those arms. First giant of the trip. I've actually got quite a lineup for you guys on this trip, so we're just getting started. How was your first Muffler Man move experience?
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's just like putting on a pair of pants. One pair at a time. And now Joel's going to go ahead and strong man it in.
Yeah,
so,
we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So there's the torso up in there, and then we just got to shove these in, and then pick up the pieces, the head, and here comes the boot. I am now headed down to Rhode Island to get Texaco Big Friend head. That I've been working on in a while. A lot of these giants that I pick up when I do these big trips, some of them, like the one I just got, I mean, I've been working on them 5-6 years. So all this deep digging, all this research, you know, you start trying to figure out what happened to them, and then if they're still around, where they are. Like today was just the final result after 5 years of work of figuring out, you know, where that finally was. So very cool history there. Seacrest was a Cadillac dealership and very well known in the area with that big giant Chief there, and then the Bunion was around the corner at a different part of the lot. One of the only pictures I have of him there, he's missing his head, so it blew off in the storm, but clearly they didn't lose it because it was there today. So he still has his head, although I can clearly see that it's been banged up, and you know, the bottom of it is all messed up. So Michael's got his work cut out for him here on restoration. And the Chief that stood with him at Seacrest is actually at Bub Hyder's place down in North Carolina. So I visited that years ago and took pictures of him. So they were actually a set. I think they were ordered together, or maybe not, but they stood together regardless. So now we're off to the next quest here. This is going to be a small one. Texaco Big Friend head with unknown Rhode Island history. Must have stood at a Texaco station back in the 60s, somewhere in this area. The lady who has it found it at the dump. So hopefully we get to meet her and talk to her a little bit and pick this up down the road here. Good morning. Day 2 of my trip. So I got a Texaco Big Friend head yesterday, and I got the Bunion. Today I'm headed to Albany. It is rainy and wet, and we've got a bow tie version we're picking up. This is really some fascinating history in Albany. This guy in the 60s, from what I hear, ordered it for his liquor business, and from the pictures it looks very unique, so I'm really excited to get there. There was actually at least 2 Muffler Men in Albany. We know that there was also a Bunion that held a muffler that I have pictures of. This is the same one that's now wearing the hippie t-shirt there in Bethel, New York. So that also has Albany history, but most people don't know about this one we're going to go check out next and hopefully pick up. I found a picture of it a few years ago coming down in 1987. Figured it was long gone. Tracked the owner who had it back then. His son was still alive, and called him. He remembered it right away, was telling me about it, and then I just said, well, what happened to it? And he said, oh, I still got it in the barn. I want to say something for the record. Muffler Men are always bigger than you think. So I had this all planned how they were going to go in here, and it did not go anything like that. Thankfully we had some guys to help here. Big thanks to, let me get the Shands Beverage in Albany, and the extra guys that came out and helped us load just now. I didn't hardly shoot any video because we were all working so hard, but that's not how I plan to load this. But I'm trying to get another Santa. We're going to Pennsylvania now, and by some miracle, if I can get that Santa in here, that would complete my trip. So we had to pack this totally different than I imagined. But there it is. Got a Big Friend in there, the hat for this guy, which is a one-of-a-kind hat, never seen it before. Absolutely incredible IF custom hat. And then the head way up there. We'll see how this rides. Thankfully Michael in Regiant has fiberglass skills. Hopefully nothing snaps, but These pants on the bottom are from the guy here in Albany, the beverage guy, I'll call him. He's got the sign on his back. I'll get more video later. But they're it's full of steel. It's got the original internal in it, completely in it. So that really threw me because I can't put that on top of anything. So there it is. I am tuckered out. All right, here in Pennsylvania, ready for the last pickup of this trip. This is a big Santa that my buddy Ken got a few months ago and hauled it to his place to hold it for me. And today we are going to try to stuff that into the only remaining space in the back of the truck. So let's see how this goes. All right, here I am under the Santa, getting everything strapped down here. Everything's crazy angle, got some supporting straps here. Unfortunately, that Santa's head's right on this foot, but I took most of the weight off with a strap. So hopefully as we go down the road, he's wedged and the other side of him's wedged against that. So I think we're pretty good here. Got a lot of stuff going on. All right, 3 guys and a half an hour later, and we got him in there. He actually lays flat. I thought he'd have to go at an angle, but this truck is officially full. So this is a full load. Quick tour here. This is my old cowboy. I don't own him anymore. He's going to California soon when he gets completed. He's actually been restored and primed. It's just he's been sitting out, so he needs cleaned up a little bit. This is a Texaco Big Friend that's in primer, very close to going into paint. And then cowboy legs that go with the cowboy right there. They just need sanded. They're looking pretty good. A cab added onto the end there. Waving Giant out of Bartlett. I did an episode on that. And he's stuffed in there. And they've survived a summer here, so the weeds grew up. But that's the Big Ben. We'll call him Big Ben. And then this is Bemidji. He's probably the next one that's going to go up at the museum for Centennial. So he won't be laying here much longer. He's going to get worked on. So it's good to see him. Looks like we got a cowboy hat back here too. It is Sunday morning. We are here at Giant. Time to unload the truck full of stuff. I've got a film crew coming from Route 66, which is exciting. So they're going to do some filming here in a little bit, but we're starting to just get this load ready. We'll leave most of it in there so they can film us pulling it out too. It's kind of not every day you got a truckload of international fiberglass Muffler Men and Giants, but we're starting to get going here this morning. We've got John Paget and his film crew for the Route 66 here, so they're filming as well, and then Michael and Will. And we think we know how we're going to get the Santa out. Let's see how it goes.
Pick them up, carry them out.
Yeah, pick them up, carry them out. Simple, right?
Simple.
All right, we got them in. This is actually really cool because for the first time you're seeing the letters now. This is how he appeared back in the 70s and the 60s. I believe this is original. He was custom made for the Albany Beverage Company. So it's really cool to see the lettering. He didn't have any on his front, but he had it on his back there. And I've seen pictures of how he stood on the roof And so everybody coming down the other road from the back could see this big and clear. So bow tie guy with original lettering on his back there. A few details on the bow tie version. There's like 12 or 13 of these bow tie versions out there, and they were made by Chevron, used them, number of different companies. I believe the one in at Pal's in Kingsport is a bow tie. So if you wanted a bow tie, they would do it. But it's like a whole different neck piece that goes on here for the bow ties. And therefore it changed the head. So you'll see in a second when we get the head out of here, out of the truck, that it doesn't have that V-neck like most of the heads do. This is super cool. This is a one-of-a-kind custom international fiberglass hat. Kind of got some similarities to the Texaco Big Friend hat. You know, it's got that little button there and the strap that comes around the front. This was a beverage company, so that's why it says ABC on it. But it's got the visor and it kind of poofs out on the top. Very cool stuff. All right, we just got done doing an interview with John Paget with American Giants for the 100-year documentary he's doing on Route 66. Will's grinding away in the truck there to get the metal out of the Albany guy, and we're going to shoot some pressure washing out here and clean this guy up. I think he's going to look pretty good. It's really dirty and dusty, but I don't want to restore this guy. I want to keep him vintage. It's the day after that we unloaded everything here at Regiant, the day after we shot with John Paget and his film crew. It was a fantastic shoot. I'm so glad we did it. I'm a little, my voice is deep and I feel a little out of it today. I've been pushing too hard for too many days, but the truck is empty and things have calmed down a little bit. And so I thought we could recap as I end out this video and talk a little bit about the Giants here in the yard before I leave Regiant and head back to Denver. So first off, over here, we've got the Bunion from Massachusetts. This came out of Amesbury, actually. And it's been there for quite a few years. I'd say maybe the last 20, 30 years. He's been in storage there with the owner, Hunk, who's a super nice guy and told me a little bit of his history. And he found them at Topsfield Fair, and he bought it from them. Took it to his salvage yard that he owned with family. I don't know if his brothers or his brothers-in-law, but they had a salvage yard together. Eventually, they broke up that family business and he kept the Giant and took it to Amesbury where I found it. I found it, there was a guy that had been a kid the day it came down, and his mom or dad took pictures of him with the Giants. So in Lynn, Mass, there was a dealership called Seacrest, and it was like a Chevy Cadillac dealer. It was there for many years. You can find evidence of it in the newspapers. They had two Giants. They had a Chief and they had a Bunion, but it was a long-legged pant Bunion like this, which is rare, but they're mostly uncommon. But one of those versions was at that dealership in Seacrest, and the only picture I have of him there, he's headless. He came down in the storm, and that would actually check out because the head right here really banged up around. They got some carpet there to cover like big cracks in the neck and all kinds of crazy stuff they were doing. But clearly it was damaged, so this kind of plays into that. This head has been through some damage, and when the picture was taken at Seacrest, probably in the 70s, the head is missing. Probably came off in a storm or maybe vandalism, I don't know. The story from that dealership, or people who remember it, is that there was a giant grocery store across the street or next door, and they got the giant from them. I don't know if that's true. That sounds a little sketchy to me. It's possible, but we just don't know. I've done a bunch of digging in the newspapers, can't find any evidence of that. So just looking at the giant, if you go over him with a fine-tooth comb, I found nothing. There's no international fiberglass stamp on his leg. There's no markings inside, like my former cowboy that's right around the corner here, you know, has the name Tom written in it. The Santa back behind me over here on this side, he's got a name written inside of his bag. Oftentimes I think they wrote the destination or the name of the buyer inside the giant in a Sharpie. This bunion over here, I got nothing. There's no clues other than those long pant legs. That's a clue, because there's not very many like that. So you see a picture, there's probably a connection, especially if it's in the same state. This guy's pretty beat up. He's been outside for a long time. Got a broke off foot there. That probably happened at Honk's salvage yard. And then the rest of him is, you know, got some cracks and things, but the arms are solid. They're still bolted on. And overall, he's a good pick. He's a classic bunion, and of course, you know me, I'm big into the history, so I really want to dig to the bottom of this. So his origins, now this is interesting, his origins. I have a theory. Hard to prove at this point, but back in the 60s, right around the time when this guy would have been made, in the mid 60s, 65 probably, there was a kids show in Boston, and it was recorded at, I think, Channel 4, and they had a studio lot behind their studios, and they made a western town. I think this show was called Boomtown, and it was done by a guy named Rex Trailer.
Howdy, kids.
This was a very successful kids program, even though people told Rex he wouldn't have any luck with it. In one picture, there's lots of video footage, lots of pictures of this show. It's very successful. A lot of people that grew up in that area remember this show and all the characters in the show. But there is a picture on the back lot behind the studio where they made this fake western town, and they had, you know, the saloon and the sheriff's station, and they had a hotel and all these things. And in this picture, you definitely see the international fiberglass connection. There's a Paul Bunyan. Look closely at his feet. Those are not regular Bunyan boots. Those are the long pant legs, just like this guy. And then, of course, you see the international fiberglass rooster, and it looks like a dinosaur there as well. So they definitely did an order, I think, from International Fiberglass originally. So my theory with this bunion that I have is that it was Rex Trailer's Boomtown bunion used on the kids show. And then it went out in life and maybe went to the grocery store or went to the car dealer, and then it went to Tops, and then eventually it ended up with Honk, who sold it to me, and here we are. So that is, as I've been doing digging this morning, you know, and finding out this stuff, it's just like really cool that this could be Rex's Trailer's bunion from his TV show. And that's some great history. Wrap up this video and this awesome, amazing trip with kind of the lineup of all the Muffler Man heads. Wow, I've never seen quite anything like this before. But we've got the Bunion head from Magic Forest. This was on Pecos, and now he's kind of restored in there. Of course, the head from Albany there with the amazing hat. By the way, it says ABC on there because they were a beverage company. So I know that ABC was also one of the beverage stores. There's a connection there somehow. I don't know all the details. Next, that's Mike Parente's head there with the cowboy that I used to have that came from St. Louis. Texaco Big Friend that came out of Rhode Island just a few days ago. Thank you so much to the former owners there for passing him along to us. Of course, the guy from Massachusetts, I think the Rex trailer Bunion head there. And this guy was a pick I did in Los Angeles. Yes. One of the suburbs of Los Angeles. I found that. It was some guy had it in his garage. So just a random original Muffler Man head. And then last in line here is a 14-footer. This is from Summit, Oklahoma, slated for restoration. You can see the size difference there between the two. But anyhow, been a fantastic trip. Thanks for coming along. It's always amazing when we can find another giant or giants to save.
Yeah, Joe, we got this all taken care of. You can surprised you showed up by finally. So.
Is that a little heavier than your minis?
No, it's just a little awkward, a little bit more form fitting.